Okay. Hello, and welcome to our handful of viewers. We are Nat20Hot. This is a new D&D themed Twitch stream. We're so excited to be here. My name is Chris. Before I introduce you to the rest of the party, a little bit about what we're about to do here, as this is our first episode ever. We are a Dungeons and Dragons campaign. We're starting off with session 1 at level 3 tonight. Everyone here, some of us have known each other a very long time. Others have met through D&D. So we thought, let's do something fun. Let's stream. And we're also doing it for the kids. So one of our stream members is going to drop a link in the chat. We are a part of Extra Life, which is a foundation for America's children's hospitals. If you feel so compelled, if you're liking the content, drop us a donation. Everything goes to a good cause. And then at the end of the day, we're here to have fun. So, to set a few expectations right off the top, sometimes we sweep rules under the rug. We prioritize role-playing, we prioritize having fun, and this is a house campaign, so we'll have some house rules. So if you're a stickler for the rules, probably not the stream for you, but I think you're going to like us, because we're a lot of fun. And on that, it's time to meet everybody else. So, welcome to Nat20Hot. We have a couple of people here. We're super excited to be here. Everyone can introduce yourselves as a normal person before we become our fake people. Like I said, I'm Chris. I'm going to turn it over to Steph.
I'm Steph.
Great introduction.
Do you guys want to do icebreakers? Anyone else want to say their name? Anyone else want to say their name?
No.
I'm bored. Brett. Whichever.
I'm Nolan. I'm 28 and I never learned how to read.
Oh, I
Terrific.
have deaf parents. That's my fun fact.
He does have deaf parents. Don't make deaf jokes. I've been there accidentally. Not great.
I forgot that even happened.
All right. So to quickly summarize,
Who's that?
that's Evan. Thanks for sticking with us. Thanks for tuning in. We hope you enjoy what you're about to see. And as we said, if you're interested in making contributions to our Extra Life fundraising campaign, our goal over the course of this year is to raise $1,000 for America's children's hospitals. And we're going to be going every other Sunday. So stay tuned until the end of today's session to find out a little bit more about how you can tune in. But we'll be back every other Sunday, special episode for our initial launch. And that is that. So without further ado, I will go ahead and dive in as we begin our campaign. Welcome, friends, to the continent of Euson. It's an isolated continent, far from much of anything, and we find ourselves in the year 704 of the corporeal age, the start of life here in Euson. But well before the first year, before the birds above or the worms below, there was a great forest. Looming pines and beech and spruce trees rising from the earth like unyielding pillars. Great forest stretches from nearly end to end of the continent, rising mere feet from windswept shores and up the jagged mountain peaks that dot the landmass. The poplar bluffs in the west form a spine along the continent's edge, home to the dwarves that plunder plentiful veins of ore and the gnomes who build residences high up in the branches of the Wathen Wood. The dense forest has little respite, save for the winding Flint River and the towering Avansard Range that divides the continent in half. To the east of the Avansard slopes lies the human capital of Trowood and its sister city Westwatch, which sits on either side of a great bay, making it a hub for merchants, hunters, fishermen. And to the east, the solitary stronghold of Adigmal plays host to mighty warriors and orcs that call the Grey Ridge Mountains home. The elves, amongst the first to settle Euson, remain in relative isolation in their twin cities on the Brunswick Isle, separated from the continent by the Holston Strait on its southern edge. Regardless of where you turn in Euson, there is forest. The race is living in relative harmony with its natural splendor, and in recent history, a seemingly everlasting autumn. But while the forest has stood for eons, its denizens have not. In the history of the world, civilization is quite young. And while humanity has expanded quickly, settling in pockets across the continent, the rocks and the trees still dominate here. And while the people of Euson live on what some would define as the edge of civilization, fighting for survival on this rugged frontier, there is magic to these lands. Emotional, powerful magic that pours into this realm from ones unseen. For every living creature in Euson traces their lineage back to the Rupture, a time when fairies, sylvans, eladrin, and all manner of fey beasts crossed over to this mortal plane. Why and how remains a mystery lost to the centuries, left to be rediscovered. But today we find ourselves in that human capital of Trowood, a bustling metropolis by Euson standards. This idyllic bayside town sits nestled in the foothills of the Avansard, the streets lined with quaint cottages and stalls of merchants and fishmongers selling the day's catch from the great bay that much of this town is built on. The exterior of the town is lined with tall wooden palisades built from the timbers of the ever-encroaching Watha wood that surrounds the village. And in the central square where Trowood's few dirt roads converge near the docks, the largest buildings stand, including the only stone building in the entire town. The seat of power in Trowood, built with white bricks, the facade of the Great Hall rises above the wooden constructs that surround it, culminating in a large, domed, covered bell tower, atop which sentries can see for miles. Beneath it, though, is the relative hustle and bustle of an early afternoon of trading and discourse among the people of Euson. Now, where we begin. There are builders and merchants ambling about, hastily tending to the many needs of a growing town. One figure, though, seems to fade into the background. Try as you might, though, Nolan, everywhere you step, you seemingly land in someone's way, when finally a big, barrel-chested man crossing between the Great Hall and toward the other side of the square stumbles over you. "What? Are you daft, boy?" And Nolan, would you like to describe your character?
Sure. So I will be playing Willem the Outcast. Willem is a hexblood. Hexbloods are humans who have been in some way touched by fae or hag magic. Willem is a teenage boy with blonde hair and green eyes. And you can see in the little character portrait that our lovely Stephanie Rink made. He also has little antlers coming out the front of his head that he tries his best to keep filed down so he could blend in. Willem has just made his way to Trowood after running away from circumstances which will probably be described in the future. But as for now, Willem will turn to the barrel-chested man and say, "Excuse me, sir, just trying to mind my own business and pass my own way. Sorry for getting in your way."
"Mind where you walk, boy. The square is no place for beggars." He starts to amble on his way. In this moment, you're almost painfully aware of how hungry you have been, having not eaten for days. Would you like to do anything in the market square?
Sure, I'll look around what sort of tasty treats might be on offer and easily snatchable off a counter while somebody is distracted.
Throughout the market, you see a number of merchants. They're peddling their individual wares, a lot of handmade goods. You can tell this is still an upstart frontier town, nothing of true elegance, but there are some fresh caught fish, there's some oysters, a stand that sells fresh baked bread, and there's really just a lot of activity going around. There's builders carrying ladders and are darting every which way across the square as they go off to work on the new constructs on the outskirts of town. But there's plenty of things around you if you'd like to take a look at something in particular.
Yeah, that bread sounds pretty appealing.
So you make your way over to the bread stand. There's a very kind older woman standing behind, kind of shouting out, "Fresh baked bread! Fresh baked bread for those that have hunger! Fresh baked bread here! Oh, what about you, darling? Can I interest you in some bread?"
Yes, ma'am, I'd be very interested in some bread. How much are you charging?
"Oh, it's 2 coppers for a loaf."
2 coppers. Oh, I might have to come back later. I seem to be out of money, funds at the moment.
Her face kind of drops like the sincere smile. Well, best keep a move on then.
Right. I sort of narrow my eyes and I'm gonna hide in the shadows a bit and watch to see if there's something I can use to create an opportunity to distract her.
Roll perception.
Okay. That is gonna be not great. 4?
Nothing jumps to you out of your initial look around the market square. There are a lot of people ambling about. You are led to believe that perhaps just waiting for a distraction might be better than anything else.
Oh, I'm noticing in the chat that we were told to check our mics. There's some echoing or feedback going on with me.
Nolan, you should turn the noise suppression off and then go to settings, and then just turn the sensitivity of your mic down.
Got it.
And hopefully that'll fix it.
Look at that. Our first chat is helpful.
Is that better? I've turned the noise suppression off and the sensitivity down.
Sensitivity down to like a tad more, and then I think we're good.
A little bit more? Sorry?
Yeah, a little more down.
Alright, we're even more down.
I think that sounds better.
Okay.
Perfect. Excellent. So, anything you'd like to be doing here in the market, Willem?
So I will reach into my pack and grab some of the we're being told that it sounds like it's coming from Randy's too. Maybe somebody's computer is repeating the audio.
Yep, I'm just gonna turn my sensitivity.
Apologies for the technical difficulties.
Hopefully that fixes it. Yeah, I've got speakers on, but usually this works. Hopefully. It's not gonna be an issue.
Okay.
Hold on. Okay.
Wait, it's good now. Okay, we're all good.
We're
Perfect.
Good? Ayo,
Yes.
let's go.
Nice. Thank you, Chad. All right. Now, what would you like to do?
I think I will reach into. No, you know what? I won't do that. I will perhaps walk over and see if I can push some of the bread off the stand and make it look like an accident, and then you're like, you can't sell floor bread.
Okay. So you're going to walk and forcibly.
Absolutely sell floor.
I'm going to. Are there any like children around in the market square or anything like that?
There are some children ambling about. Yes.
Yeah. I approach. Sorry, what was that?
Nope. Go ahead.
I gesture over to a child in like a come here motion, and I hold up a gold coin from my pouch.
I think we're getting some echo from Chris now, by the way.
Okay. It's sneezing.
Oh, no.
It's sneezing. Okay, so you hold up a gold coin. This little kid, his eyes just light up as he races across to greet you. Like barrels kind of pushes one person aside, and they angrily look over their shoulders. They carry a big crate through the square, but they end up right in front of you. Yes, sir. What do you need?
Now look here. You're going to go over there to that stand with that bread. You're going to get as much as you can in your hands. You're going to run as fast as you can, and you're going to meet me all the way over at the other side of the square. Make sure you're not followed, and then I will give you a shiny gold coin.
Well, you're asking a lot of trouble out of me. I think I'm going to need something up front. This isn't my first show.
All right, let's see. I reach into my pack and I pull out a bear trap. Does this tickle your fancy?
It does not.
All right. No on the bear trap.
While you are chatting with this child, trying to convince them to commit larceny for you, a pair of individuals start to walk into the marketplace from the other side of the block. And we find ourselves with a young elven Eladrin woman walking with a much older compatriot as they kind of amble into the city, into the market square that day. Elray, an elder elf, turns to you, Branwen, says, "So, are you finding yourself around town better now that you've been here a bit?"
I look around at all of the previously described, mostly wooden buildings, and I just say, everything seems really flammable.
Yes, you see, the humankind still haven't gotten into standard construction practices, but we hope with our influence, I'll improve these things in due time. But it's a fair observation.
I mean, all right. I mean, otherwise it's really boring here.
Well, how are you spending your free time?
How am I spending my free time? Probably doing jack shit. Probably doing absolutely nothing because I don't have anything to do. That's what I've been doing.
Perhaps you could be of service to me a little bit more than you already have been. I have some... There's a counterpart of mine in Westwatch that I could use some files delivered to if you'd be interested in helping me out a bit more.
I mean, sure. If you tell me to do something, I guess I'll do it. That's the whole reason I'm here.
Yes, of course. That's why you're here. And Branwen, I'm going to have you roll perception.
Roll perception? Oh, boy. 21.
Oh, my goodness. You become keenly aware of two very odd things happening in the square. The first being an individual who towers above most of the folks in the market square. There's just many humans. There's some dwarves, and of course the two of you, elven folks. But for the most part, the town is largely human, especially at this hour. But standing dead center in the center of the square, kind of staring up, almost losing themselves in the sun, is this rather large Goliath creature. But out of the corner of your eye, you also seem to notice a young man kind of forcing a bear trap upon a child. And of course, these things kind of pique your interests.
I probably just stare at I stare at the kid with the bear trap, and I'm like, this is easily the most interesting thing that's happened all week.
Willem, how are things going with the child?
You tell me. I'm sort of... now listen here. I only have this one gold piece, so I can't exactly split it. And you see how I can't pay you up front for a job that hasn't been done yet. So we need to come to some kind of arrangement. I have this premium bear trap that I am offering you. Think of all the hijinks you could get into with this thing. All you got to do, steal me some bread, and then you get the bear trap and the gold.
Roll persuasion.
Okay. It's not good.
You could just pay 2 copper.
I have a plan, okay? Yeah, the persuasion is 3.
Shockingly, this child, after like kind of hearing you berate them for the better part of 5 minutes with this bear trap, just goes, "Fine," and they take the bear trap from you, and they start to like kind of like look over their shoulder, and they say, "Where am I meeting you?"
I point towards what may be the least populated corner of the square if such a thing exists.
Yeah, you can see over kind of on the far left side, there is certainly less people, but there's people everywhere at this time of day. But in terms of where the fewest amount of people are, that is where you would find them. Okay. So he goes.
I'm gonna walk over there. You know, when I'm safely behind a building, you grab that bread and you run to me as fast as you can, and this gold piece is all yours.
Terrific. Okay. Just wait over there. And the kid starts to amble across the market square. And as you start to go over to the other side of the market, you actually end up just as this large behemoth in the center of town just kind of starts to meander about, staring up at the ceiling, staring at the different rooftops, and then back up to the sun, ends up colliding with you. And Randy, would you mind introducing yourself?
Yeah, I'm Randy. I'm a Goliath. Just a dude, really. I don't know. Spend my time. I like to do drugs, and stare at the sky and oh, I'm quiet. Hold on. Okay. Hopefully that's better. I like to do that. I like to nope, that's it. Those are my hobbies.
Great. Willem, you are just kind of plowed into this individual. You're knocked back. They've barely acknowledged your existence.
Pardon me, big boy. And I sort of nod my head and try to be on my way as much as I can.
I don't even notice.
Can I do an insight check to see if you are in a drug-addled stupor at the moment?
Sure.
Or Chris, what would that be? Insight or perception or what?
Insight, yeah, I like that.
All right. 7.
Yeah.
Cool.
Willem, out of the corner of your eye, you're made aware of the fact that the child is deliberately pointing at you. They're kind of like, they're talking from afar to the bread woman, and they kind of keep going over their shoulder, and while you can't hear them, it's just like pointing in your general direction.
Well, fuck.
Do you react at all?
Well, I'm hiding behind a building. I'm sort of looking over the corner. Am I being pursued? Is somebody coming?
The woman from the bread stand is starting to make her way over towards you. However, from a distance, you start to hear a lot of clattering, crashes, panicked shouting, and then very slowly this kind of sound of furious pounding against the dirt as it gets even louder and louder. And very quickly your attention is drawn to this lumbering bugbear thundering into the market square with a seemingly panic-stricken look upon his face, matted black hair billowing behind him as he races into the square. But before you really have the opportunity to confront the anomaly that you just witnessed, you spot the source of this kind of fervent panic, because just bounding in behind this monstrosity is something you have never seen before in your young lives. Easily mistaken for a wolf, but it's just far greater in size. The beast skids to a halt, and you just hear, oh, people rush run shouting. The last thing you're able to see, Willem, is the bread woman just clamoring away in sheer panic. And then as you kind of turn your attention back to this creature that has stumbled into the midst of the market square, people's just darting in every different direction, kind of huffing and puffing. And it seems at the same time both seemingly panic-stricken as it was the people it was chasing, as well as just furious. As you kind of look more at it, you can see there's got this like rigid spine that edges up into what seems like a large hunchback, and it starts to crouch down and look at you all. But then as it lowers its head, you can see it has these two very large black spindly horns, and it prepares to charge at each of you, and you all should roll initiative.
All right.
Oh,
Looks like Evan is having a rough time with his internet.
I can't tell if it's a 9 or a 4.
I got a 7.
Okay.
I got
Oh my god,
a
same!
dirty 20, baby.
All right, hold on 1
Oh my
second.
god, we're twinning! Bet you wish you had that bear trap now, huh?
Not real.
So,
Step into your
Willem,
decks.
what did Willem get?
Willem and Bronwyn both got a 7.
Okay. What's your dex, Bronwyn?
16.
8.
Oh no!
Wow.
Oh no!
I wonder who's going first. Oh, it's Board, actually.
Yeah.
What did Borg get?
I got a dirty 20.
Nice. And then do we have Dunk? Yes, we do. Dunk, how did we do?
Sorry, my internet. Am I here yet?
Yep, we can hear you.
Yep.
Yeah, roll initiative.
Okay, cool. Initiative. Okay. Ooh, nat 20.
Oh, okay.
So
In that
with
case,
my bonus, that's what? 23.
Dunk, you will go first. As you have kind of just raced in here, you're greeted by a chaotic scene as you have run into town, chased by this behemoth of a monster, and you find yourself now in the city that you've kind of been on the outskirts of for some time. But as you turn around, the creature that was chasing you has seemingly, kind of stopped dead in its tracks as it lowers its horns and looks to make a strike. But you've gathered yourself, you've gathered your energy, and you are ready to make the first strike.
Come, ugly dog. And I will.
Oh, good
17.
A 17? Yeah, that hits.
Shit, which one's the roll? This one. 8
It's
damage.
phenomenal.
We got
Eight.
a great chat message.
8 damage. All right. How are you attacking this beast?
With my great axe, just gonna overhead slam.
Terrific. All right. Randy, you just barely acknowledging the ferocity and mayhem around you. You're finally kind of acknowledging the fact that a lot of things are occurring. And what do you do?
My gaze is kind of fixed upon the sun, and I hear all this commotion happening. I just kind of slowly and then I see the bugbear and this beast kind of going at it, and I slowly start walking over, and I go what's going on, guys? Just calm down, man. And I cast Calm Emotions on both of them.
Okay. What's the save?
It's a charisma DC. Charisma save, I guess. Is that a save? Can you do? Yeah. Of 12.
12.
For
Okay.
both of them.
All right. So, Dunk, you will need to make a charisma saving throw. The beast in front of you, this kind of wolf-like monstrosity, does seem to calm down just a bit.
This will be a nat 20.
Okay, Dunk, you are still raging. It's back-to-back Nat 20s. Nat 20s of our campaign go to Dunk. Well done, Dunk.
Dang.
What is the impact of calm emotions here?
I attempt to suppress strong emotions in a group of people. Each humanoid can make a saving throw, but it also affects creatures, but they can choose to fail it if they want. Like if he just wants to calm down, he can do that totally. I get to choose a 2 effects. Sorry, I'm learning as I go.
No,
I've
please.
never
We
played
all
Fair.
are.
Okay. It says I can make a target indifferent about the creatures of your choice that is hostile toward.
Okay.
So I'll just choose to make it not hostile towards everyone,
So,
but specifically Dunk.
okay. So you're making it not hostile towards Dunk.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay. And are you doing anything else with your turn?
And, yeah. Can I like just approach it after I do that? I'm gonna try to like just kind of pet it.
Sure. You can certainly try to pet it. So you approach, and you're just going to try to lay your hand on its head.
Yeah, I'm gonna say I'm sensing some like low vibrations from you, man.
Given that you have approached this creature and are laying your hand upon it, it is going to take an opportunity attack against you. It lets you get as close as it can, and its eyes kind of start to narrow, and you can, as you get closer, you sense it's what you would imagine would be the hot breath of a beast is actually quite cold. So as your hand kind of passes its nostrils, it feels very chilly almost at the touch, and your hand kind of pulls back just a little bit. But then as you go to place your hand on its very admittedly furry head, it is going to try and bite you, and that will be a 10 to hit.
That will not hit.
Okay, so you quickly retract your hand, but still kind of plain affect as you're just kind of standing there, noting that your attempt to calm this creature has not worked perhaps as much as you'd like.
Wow.
And with that, it is Branwen's turn. So from across the market square, as you're kind of entering from the south, coming from the docks, so you would be walking toward the exit of town, and you saw these two individuals come racing in, and now you have the opportunity to react to what you've seen.
Okay, how far away am I?
You are about 15 feet from the monster.
Oh, shit, so I'm
50,
real close.
50. 50.
50?
Yes.
Cool. I'm going to go forward I'll go forward as far as I can, and then I'm going to suddenly disappear where I am and reemerge in a burst of flame next to Randy.
What the?
And the creature, because I'm doing a summer phase step, and it takes 3 fire damage when I reappear.
All right. So the creature, shocked to see you there, kind of recoils a touch, but gives a low growl as you appear.
That was just my bonus action.
And it's like white fur singes a little bit as you pop into place.
I'm gonna quick glance at Randy, and also this random bugbear, and I'm gonna ask them: Are we fighting this, or is it like a pet? Is this normal?
It seems like it's just kind of like I don't know. It doesn't belong here. It doesn't seem like.
You want me to stab
Bad
it?
scary dog.
I'll stab it. I'll stab it. No?
I mean, you do what you feel, man.
And I like to think that this very stupid conversation does take up too much time.
The creature is kind of there waiting. Like it's looking at. It has seemed to have drawn a very interesting look at you, Branwen. Like it is very intrigued by your presence.
It was a very dramatic entrance, and then we just stand and talk for like 6 seconds.
Big swing-a-miss.
Tried to bite me.
But
So
like,
Willem,
is it your dog?
it is now your turn. So while this trio is just having a polite and casual conversation in front of this beast, you're kind of tucked behind the wall, seeing it all happen out of the corner of your eye. But at the same time, it blocks pretty much your only way out of town.
Bummer. How far am I from everything, from the action?
They're about 15 feet to your right.
Okay. I will approach I will cast Hex on the creature. Anytime I hit it, I deal an extra 1d6 necrotic damage, and also I choose one ability. The target has disadvantage on skill checks made with the chosen ability, and I will choose Strength.
Okay. No saving throw? It's just hexing?
No saving throw, it just happens.
All right. Anything else you'll be doing with your turn?
Oh, I'm going to approach as well.
Okay, excellent. So you're all kind of
Excuse me, sorry. That is a bonus action. Am I within range to hit it?
Oh yes.
Okay,
if you move to
will-
it. If you move to it.
I do move to it. I will
Yes.
roll to hit.
All right. Roll to hit.
18.
That hits.
That will be 8 plus 3, 11 damage.
All right. You take a big swing, stab. What do you do?
I take a big swing with my moon-touched sword.
Ah, okay. You take your moon touch sword and you slice through, and as you kind of cut through, tufts of white hair kind of fly off in every direction. And feeling very cornered, this beast is going to retaliate, and it's going to kind of take a look at all of you. And those of the three of you immediately in front of it, so that would be Branwen, Randy, and Dunk. I will have you make a dexterity saving throw.
Seven.
Okay.
11.
8.
Really good work.
Okay. The three of you take 18 cold damage.
What's the dog doing?
As this just is kind of lowers its head as after feeling like the cut across his side from
that's
Willem,
so much.
and its jaws clench together and it kind of belches in front of you as cold air comes plowing out from its mouth and between its jaws. And yes, you take 18 cold damage.
Chris, we're level 3.
Yeah, I know.
We're level 3, Chris.
Excellent. And that is going to end its turn. And it'll take us back up to Dunk.
Oh no.
Is he frozen?
He appears to be frozen.
He appears to be frozen.
Maybe we just hold his turn and pass to Randy?
Indeed, we do. It is Randy's turn.
I will. I'm kind of taken aback by this this cold attack that I have. I'm like, oh, is there a draft in here? And I just kind of like I out from like my ear, I take what seems like a joint, and I just start lighting it, and I take a big puff and I blow it out, and the smoke like billows like a lot more than you'd kind of expect it to, as it covers both like all like me, Branwen, and Dunk, and heals us all for 5 HP each, as I am using Channel Divinity, Preserve Life.
The healing power of nature's herb.
Yes, exactly.
Based off the smell alone, how good is the stuff he's smoking?
Pretty good. No,
Nice.
it's gutter
I give
trash.
you-
It's just magic makes it good.
It's a 70s weed.
Yeah.
Are you doing anything else with your turn besides
That's
doobie-doobie-doo?
my action. I guess no.
Okay. All right. In that case, we will transfer over to Branwen's turn.
Okay. So I'm gonna finally draw my sword, which is a very plain looking rapier. And then I have a little dagger in my offhand. So, I kind of get the sense that this thing isn't somebody's dog, and this is not normal for this town. So I'm going to stab at it, my rapier, and do a mobile flourish. So I'll see if I hit first. It'd be nice if I did. That's a 15.
That does hit.
So I do 8 damage, and then I also do, because I'm doing using a bardic point to do this flourish, I'll do 1d6 extra damage. So that's a full 6. So that is a total of 14 damage, and I also push it 11 feet away from me.
Oh, all right. It has definitely
And then I am
looked
going
better.
to.
So
And
it's
then I'm going
14
to,
total damage?
Yes, and then I'm gonna move around it using all of the space that I now have, since I'm not next to it, to go and flank from
Okay.
the other side.
Got it.
And I'll be on the other side of Willem.
Perfect. 1 second.
Willem, you now get advantage.
Cool.
You're welcome.
Alrighty. So the wolf is not looking great. In fact, it is bleeding from much of its body, and it is frequently looking over its shoulder. It does starting to get the sense that it's surrounded, having now you on the right hand side with Willem and 2 people in front of it. So it is starting to feel, and like its eyes are darting in every which way direction. But it is now your turn, Willem.
Is it hit by a 14?
It is indeed.
Then I'm going to swing at it again with my sword and hit it. And that is going to do 13 plus 2 is 15 damage.
Oh, nice. I love having a calculator right next to me. All right. You take a mighty swing with your sword and kind of cut through its leg, and you actually see that, like, as you slice through and catch back, the start of the like kind of cut that you made through its leg is starting to actually like kind of disconnect the tendons that are holding its leg together, and it is going to make an attack against you as it kind of like lunges out in pain. So it is going to try and bite at you. And are you hit by a 15?
I am not.
So it kind of lunges at empty air and ends up stumbling over on its kind of like dangling leg, and as it kind of limps to the side. It takes us back up to Dunk, if you're with us.
I am. Okay, so what happened with me with the failed dexterity throw?
You took 18 cold damage.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
I mean,
That was
shoot.
no, but then I healed you
Shoot.
for 5.
Oh, yes, so you
so-
took 13 damage.
13.
Okay.
It is not looking good. It is essentially missing a leg at this point.
Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna swing at that little bad dog.
Please do.
Not very well. 9.
A 9 misses. So it kind of.
Also have advantage. Sorry.
Does it also have advantage?
Bronwyn mentioned that I get advantage on my hits, and so I'm wondering if everybody does or it's just me.
It's only folks that are right in flanking range, I believe.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Actually, wait. Never mind.
Never mind.
Never mind.
Insight
Okay.
check.
Insight check on the dog.
Wait, yeah, how hot is this dog?
It's not hot. You can see the picture. Randy, it is your turn.
Wait, what?
It's Randy's turn.
Oh shit. Oh, whoops. I will I'm going to maybe make another bad decision. And I'm gonna kind of approach it again, and I'm gonna try to like lay my hands on it again, and I'm gonna cast command, which requires a wisdom saving throw or a DC of 12 from this guy, and I can speak a one-word command to a creature I can see within range. If they fail, then they just have to follow what I say. As long as it doesn't hurt them, it's pretty much whatever.
It does fail. So what would you like to?
Wait, it doesn't understand common, does it?
It actually does.
Oh, okay. Never mind. Okay, it does work. I'm gonna say. It's one word. Yeah. I'm just gonna say, flee.
The wolf monster in front of you, its eyes kind of, you see them kind of widen in front of you, and its slits kind of open up into full pupils, and a very like difficult, with great difficulty, but as quickly as it can, with its kind of limp paw, turns and starts to run back from whence it came and up and out of the village.
Hey, it starts to run. It starts to run away.
It does start to run away. It does.
Like,
If you'd like to take an attack of opportunity against it, you certainly can. Both Willem and Bradwin.
14.
14 hits.
No.
Boop. 7.
7 damage. Okay. Willem, will you be making an attack of opportunity as well?
Hello. Yes, I will.
Okay. Roll to hit.
I wasn't going to do it if she wasn't going to do it, but I'm going to do it. 15.
That hits.
12 damage.
How do you want to do this?
Give it a mighty slice across the head.
Okay, so it's turning to flee, and it just gets consistently tripped up by its kind of limp paw, and you come swinging down with your moonsword as it kind of cuts through, and the head just and rolls across the dirt. And the kind of the bloody head just like rolls and tumbles in the dirt and ends up right at your feet, Randy.
If you're born to live, you're born to die.
That's true. Now with this mayhem over, people start to amble and kind of poke their. Is it gone? What? Who are these people? What happened? What's going on out there? You all are faced as people start to kind of come out from the various buildings and back down the streets. That you are very clearly the center of attention at this point in time.
I would like to amble over to the bread stall and begin eating bread.
You start to make your way over to the bread stand, but as you make your way over to the bread stand, which happens to be just to the left of the Great Hall with its very large bell tower, you are greeted by 2 hastily walking individuals coming flying out of the great double doors that make up the Great Hall. And of these 2 individuals, one is wearing very elegant furs. They're spotted, so they come from some type of creature. And they kind of puff up over his shoulders, and a great black cloak kind of billows out from behind him as he walks. But he looks quite young, and he has this very almost fire engine red hair and many freckles as he kind of steps out, and he has a very bold energy as he makes his way out of the Great Hall and begins walking over to you both, to all of you.
Hey, Chris?
You know what she's going to ask.
Yeah.
Hey, Chris?
Yeah.
It's the title of our show.
They're pretty hot. But, canonically...
Yeah, what'd they roll, bud?
They rolled a 15. So from what you've seen around, they're a pretty handsome fellow. And now everyone knows we are Nat20Hot. In fact, you all can see this individual right now. This is the individual that you are greeted with. But standing next to him,
He just changed his hair.
it is very long hair.
Changed his hair, he would get to the 20.
He could, yeah. Standing next to him, though, is a rather gruff-looking individual. They have a very nice pencil-thin and twisted mustache, and they're wearing like blue tight robes, like they're kept very close to the chest, and they're well adorned with very elegant shoulder pads. And you find that seemingly everyone's hair in these parts of town is very like unkempt.
That's Danny Trejo.
What's that?
That's Danny Trejo.
God.
You just give me 1 second, you'll get a better view. There
Any
you
trade
go.
now, please donate to the Children's Miracle Network.
That's right, the Children's Miracle Network.
I know that
The
of
name of the
all the
charity.
5 viewers we have, Danny Trejo is one of them.
He definitely is. They quickly approach you, and seemingly this individual that you're looking at right now will actually puts his hand up and stops you from going any further, and quickly accosts you and says, "You, are you with this fiasco?"
Well, begging your pardon, sir, but I resolved the fiasco, and I gesture towards the creature's severed head.
Yes, and he kind of puts his hands upon you and starts to turn you around and says, "We'll discuss this together," and starts to push you back towards the party.
I do not consent to being touched, but all right, I'll go along for now.
The two individuals, kind of with their hands upon Rodri Willem's shoulders, guide you back to the corpse of this creature that lies there, and the individual in front of you kind of accosts you all and says, "What is the meaning of this? What happened here?"
Do I know what this is? Have I seen one of these before?
You have seen both of these individuals before, but you are more
No, I'm
familiar.
talking about the dog.
Oh, no, you have not seen this particular creature, but it does feel familiar to you. But you also have seen both of the individuals standing in front of you at this point in time.
What are their names?
You know the redhead to be Thomas Blunt, and the person talking to you with the pencil-thin mustache as Baron Fowler, the commander of the City Watch.
And what's my buddy's name?
Elray.
Do I see him? What's he doing?
He's kind of standing off on the edge, and like nodding at you. He's like,
I'm like giving him the, what do I do?
he gives you a gesture, like, which you infer to be like, speak for these people.
Okay, I send him a shaka. It's a common hand signal.
He just goes,
I can't see you, Chris.
"Oh, whoops, hold on."
I can't see your gestures.
He just goes,
Yeah.
"Yeah."
I can't see
Oh,
it.
El Ray. What's his role?
You would know this individual to be the captain of the city guard.
No,
No.
that's not what she meant.
Oh, Elray's role?
It's my boy Hot.
Oh,
I have to ask
He's
every
not.
single character now. That's
he's
what you've done.
Elray is a solid 3.
Like a 3 out of 10 or a 3 out of 20.
3 out of 20.
We're on a 20 scale.
That's not good.
This is Nat20 Hot,
That's
after all.
Unfortunate.
He's got a great personality, though.
He does.
Okay, yeah. I stand up to see what Blunt and Fowler want.
Fowler looks at you and kind of turns his attention to you. He says, "You, I've seen you about here. Are you causing trouble again?"
I whip my sword out to the side to get all the blood off it, and then I shoot it again. I just go, nope.
And
And I
then
smile.
Baron Fowler kind of takes you all in. He kind of clocks each of you as he goes down the line, and he kind of, as he gets to Randy, he goes, as if there's some prior history there. And then as his eyes land on Dunk, you can see there's a bit of fire in his eyes, and they get, very, and he goes, Thomas, you cannot trust these fools. Look. Oh, cute meow. We cannot trust these fools. They enjoy the company of a known bandit.
Which one of us are you talking about? Is that supposed to be me? Wait.
No. Are you a bandit?
Fool, sir? I could be.
I call each of you a fool.
So what do you want with us? Can we go about our day, or do you want us for
I want to get to the bottom of what we see before us. Explain yourselves immediately.
Animal?
Yes, where did it come from?
Animal?
Reports of the guard in the tower say that it chased you into town. And he kind of gestures over to you, Doug.
I raid merchants, and I kill dogs. Help kill dogs.
I mean, you didn't give your fantasy Miranda, so you really didn't need to say that, bud.
He admits to a crime. We take him in immediately. Guards! And he kind of snaps over his shoulder as a couple of individuals flock from behind in the Great Hall toward him, with the redhead next to him kind of holds up his hand. Just mind that you don't overstep, Baron. Not all damage was wrought by them, and we know that beast, had it been allowed to run rampant, would have made the far worse outcome. Now, let them all speak. What brought you into town today, sir? And he kind of continues looking at you, Doug.
Bad dog.
Yeah. I understand that. Where did you see this dog?
In woods, was raiding, and merchants were not merchants, but dogs. Kill one, other follow.
I'm sorry, did one of you speak for him, perhaps more eloquently, and could fill me in on the situation?
Yeah, no. Do you need us to, translate it into fancy talk so you can understand it? Because it was very clear comment that he was speaking.
Thomas kind of leans back, and while he's annoyed by your rudeness, he's also, somewhat impressed that you would talk to him in such a fashion, so he kind of
I'm smiling this whole time.
And then quickly wipes it, and just, yes, if you know the point of what happened here, any additional insight would be much appreciated.
I mean, I'm pretty sure the entire point that he was trying to say is that there is a weird feral dog that came in the middle of the town, and now we killed it, and it's fine?
A dog? That's no dog. As Baron kind of kneels down and looks and actually twists the head by the horn. What dog have you seen look like this? With horns as thick as trunks?
I mean, mostly the dogs that a lot of them have antlers that I've seen. So, that's not that far off.
You claim to have seen, every dog? Dogs could look like anything.
That's true. I'd second that.
Thomas kind of looks over at the Baron and says, he has you there, Baron. But we do thank you for the defeat of the beast, but while we tend to clean up here, perhaps your friend, as he kind of looks over at Dunk, could lead you to where he found the beast. I mean, certainly if there are more of them, if he says he killed one already, we might be able to find a den of sorts and root it out at the stem.
I help any time.
Right now? Do we have to do that now?
You did wreak a bit of havoc, and I suppose we could call this a favor, but if you need some additional compensation... Thomas, mind your tongue, Baron. Be willing to compensate you for a brief check of the woods to make sure that all is well.
Again, my question was, right now? Because it kind of breathed on us, and it was really cold, and I'm kind of messed up.
If you need to take a brief respite, there are a number of taverns in town.
Like a nap or something.
I'm sure you all could...
Are you paying?
No, we will not be covering any expenses beyond the fee that you would receive for a very brief journey into the Wathen to understand where these creatures might have come from. You could even just report their location, and the town guard will root them out.
Your town guard didn't do a very good job dealing with this one, just saying.
Yes, well, we thank you again.
Can you thank us with money, please? Or maybe some bread?
Thomas kind of lifts his hands up and gestures around the marketplaces. I believe the damage is thanks enough that you all have brought into the city, given that your friend led them in here. But fine. And he kind of snaps his fingers, and a couple of town guardsmen go run over to the bread stand and come back with a loaf for each of you.
Oh, sick. Good day.
Now, may we count on you to guide your companions to the forest and show them where this beast came from?
Do we have a choice?
Like I said, if you would like to wait until tomorrow and potentially risk further harm befalling the town, then you are at your leisure to do so. And there are many taverns in the city that will gladly play host to guests of Trowood. But I unfortunately would be inclined to ask, what brings our dear friend here? And he gestures over to Dunk, who moments ago admitted to pillaging merchants. And we all know the crime for that, don't we?
I step closer to Dunk.
Have food now. I'm good.
Like multiple town guardsmen are kind of starting to gather behind Baron, who's just glaring directly at Dunk. This doesn't need to get messy, does it?
No, I help anytime.
Thomas looks at you all and says, well, I've had just about enough of this, so you all may feel free to go out and root out these beasts now, and we will gladly pay you for your troubles. However, if you are so inclined and not quite up for the task, you may take up residence at one of the local inns. And please, do tell us your findings with all great haste. Come, Baron. These individuals know what to do next. And Baron kind of looks over and says, surely we can't just leave them here, Thomas. Yes, surely we can, Baron. And he quickly kind of heads off back to the Great Hall. And Baron, I'm watching all four of you. And we have eyes everywhere. And he turns his blue cloak and vanishes, headed back toward the Great Hall.
That guy was lying. He only has 2.
You think you've seen every kind of eye?
Oh, I know what an eye looks like. I assume it's not, doesn't look like... What are you guys doing for the rest of the day?
This right here is some mighty fine bread. I'm going to be eating bread, mostly, I think.
Those of you who eat the bread do heal 3 hit points.
Ooh, yeah,
Boy.
I'm gonna turn to Willem and point at the carcass on the ground. You eating that?
We can split.
And I'm just gonna start skinning it in the middle of the town square.
I'm just gonna stand there and watch, and glance over to Elray.
Yes, as soon as the skinning begins, Elray quickly approaches, and kind of grabs you by the shoulder and pulls you aside, Bronwyn, and says, "They've brought this havoc here. Would you mind monitoring them and making sure that they don't get up into any trouble? You're now associated with them, and by association, I'm now associated with them. So they're your charges now."
Are you associated with them? You didn't do anything.
Because people know I'm associated with you, and if they see you with these fools, then they will immediately associate that.
Okay, fine. Do you have any beer or like alcohol or anything? I guess we're having lunch.
You're more than
Well, at least-
welcome to go to one of the taverns, but I mind that you take this beast. And Elray kind of sees what you're doing, Duncan. Stop that! This deserves to be studied and understood where it came from.
Now, begging your pardon, sir, I wouldn't interfere with my big friend here doing his business. We're fixing to eat that critter.
I assure you that will not be happening. Listen, if you'll leave it here with me, I'll give you all 1 gold so you can buy yourselves a lunch.
I look
I
at
put it
Dunk.
on your tab anyway because 1 gold just doesn't hit the same.
You're not putting it on my... You don't have a tab with me. I pay you a salary.
No, you have a tab. I just been putting everything on your tab. Did you not know this?
No.
Oh,
Mind
shit.
your doing anything with my name. I'm your one ticket back. And he kind of whispers that to you.
And then for the first time, Bronwyn stops smiling. I'm like, okay. I won't put it on your tab this time.
He pulls out 4 pieces of gold, right, like nimbly between his fingers, and he kind of flicks them to each of you. He says, leave this here with me, and if you must enjoy a lunch, you may do so.
All right, I start corralling them toward the nearest bar.
I look at Dunk before we go, and I'm sort of like, what do you think? Are we just going to leave him there? Like, are we
Okay,
good
no,
with
come
this?
on, get.
Fair
Get-
trade.
Okay, all right.
We're going.
I'm very easily corralled. I'm like a sheep. A very large sheep.
Okay, so
I'm walking to Dunk.
you all are headed to just an inn of some kind?
Whatever the nearest bar is.
A bistro.
/ inn.
If you are going to the nearest bar, you would know this, Bronwyn, as an individual who has been here for a bit now. You make your way down one of the side streets from the market square to the Kelpie Inn. And, it's a small tavern. It's nestled between the market square and the docks. So you're headed in the direction, kind of away from where this chaos has happened. And as you look over your shoulder, Elray is kind of snapping his fingers and calling out a couple of, you see a few more elves. It's not just Elray, but as well as a number of human workers as well. And they start to, kind of pick up this carcass. And Elray investigates the head, turns it over in his hands, and then you begin on your way. So as you make your way to the Kelpie Inn, which is this, it's a place for fishermen, dock workers. It's more of a rundown spot, so you felt quite comfortable there, kind of blending in. It's known around Trowood for being a more rough and tumble crowd, but they have a very nice fire and a hearty menu of stews and salted meats. As you walk down the street and you near the tavern, you find that the outside of the tavern is largely open to the streets. There's kind of these thick wooden poles that are holding up the roof about 2 stories off the ground, but it's at a slight angle. So the roof is starting to kind of steep in as though it's been sagging under the years of bearing the weight of leaves and rain and whatever it may be. Passers-by, easily amble in and out of the building, and the smell of the salt water coming off the bay nicely gently drifts in and starts to mingle with very rich aromas of beef and pork raising in the cauldron inside. Even from afar, as the day is starting to get a little longer, it's starting to become the evening time. You can hear this raucous laughter and conversations of men and women unwinding from their days, cutting timber, hauling nets, all manner of work about town. And even despite the chaos that you just endured, people seem to be relatively unaffected by it, as though, while out of the ordinary, not a day-ruining event. And as you enter the tavern, you take note of this just tremendous hearth that sits on the back wall, clearly visible from the entrance. There's this circle of brick and stone that juts out from the wall, affording patrons the ability to kind of walk around in this semicircle that takes up almost the whole southern wall. People gather around the very large fire, and there's just a lot of cauldrons that sit and simmer. And very quickly you notice that patrons are just kind of slipping their own food into the cauldrons. They're going around, they're taking ladles full and pouring it into their bowls. They might cut off a piece of meat and drop it into another person's cauldron. They're picking up spices from around the racks and just throwing it into whatever makes sense. People are ambling about, seemingly taking from whatever catches their eye or their nose.
Oh my god, they have a soup bar.
The rafters that hold up the establishment. What's that?
Is this a family-style restaurant?
It is a family-style restaurant. The rafters that are holding up this family-style restaurant are dotted with little tied bundles of herbs and candles, which kind of melt into the rafters like they've been there for years. And they light the ceiling, and it leads your eyes up towards the back on the right-hand side where there's a stairwell that you imagine goes up to the inn's bedrooms. Looking up, you note for the first time, mounted above the hearth, is this large black stallion.
Toward the soup bar.
So as you make your way to the soup bar, you also see to your left kind of the main bar area, which is a simple wooden frame in comparison to the large hearth that you've already witnessed. And if you'll give me just a moment here, I'll kind of set the mood.
Oh my god.
So romantic.
So you see many folks kind of gathering around this hearth. And, to the left where the main bar area is, there's this kind of stout dwarf with a wide stance and a billowing mane of copper hair. And he smiles gently as you make your way into the restaurant.
You guys go start getting food. If you give me your money, I'll pay for you guys or whatever. And grab a table. Does that sound good?
I walk over to the hearth.
Okay, he's just gone. Okay.
You walk over to the hearth, Randy, and there are a number of pots that are available, as you kind of saw when you came in, but now that you get closer and you see what's available to you, there's a number of ladles, like they're all just readily available for the taking. And there's crowds of people just kind of ambling about, and some, look over their shoulder and give you a bit of a double glance, not used to seeing someone quite your size in these parts. And to your immediate right, you see an individual that is playing a lute, or a lyre rather. It's a very beautiful young woman. She's singing softly for a crowd of men who seem to hang on her every word.
I appreciate the music, but I take a ladle of stew, and I kind of like treat it just like a spoon, and I just like start eating out of the ladle.
Okay.
And then I take like 2 or 3 spoonfuls, then put it back. Does anyone react to that? Or?
Yes, everyone around you reacts to that. So essentially, like as you pick the ladle up, people are just kind of like giving you a confused glance. But in the moment that you take it up to your lips and sip from it, you hear, "Oh, I'll just come in here taking that. Oh, at least have a bowl, mate. See grub for a bowl. Are you daft?"
Oh.
I'm just like, stop it.
Yeah. Okay.
While you're kind of arguing with those folks, Branwen, you are at the bar, and the dwarven bartender Grub kind of notices what's happening in the far corner. He says, "Is he with you?"
He's new in town. I'll show him the ropes. How much for what, 4 bowls? And 4 ales or whatever.
Grub kind of gestures over his shoulder to this looks like a very poorly scrawled menu that's pinned into the wall behind him. And it shows writing on it, but it was clearly written by someone who is not very literate. But from what you can tell, you need only ask for a bowl, and there's this kind of communal bowl up front where people can drop coins and money into. And you start to get the sense that eating here is actually free. But
Communist soup factory.
Paying is
I would have known
encouraged.
that, but I'm trying to be nice.
But paying is encouraged. And beer is you would have to pay for ale.
Yes. So I feel like Bronwyn probably has eaten here before, so Morphy was asking how much for 4 beers.
Yes, that would be 1 gold for everyone to have for 4 beers.
Oh shit! All right, I can give him 2 gold. Also for the soup.
He kind of takes the 2 gold and he drops as he drops one of the gold pieces into the bowl in front of him, and he gives you a very nice smile. Like you, love. And he kind of goes behind him, starts pouring things out, and drops 4 beers, and he slides them down the bar over to you.
Yep. I catch them. Oh shit! I just knocked over the pen. And then I grab a little stack of 4 bowls, and I just toss the stack over to Willem, and maybe he catches it. I don't know.
Roll a dexterity check, Willem.
Yeah, you got an 8 dex.
Yeah. All right. That's gonna be 2.
I look so disappointed.
Yeah, the bowls kind of clang all
It was like
over
a
the floor.
perfect underhand toss.
If you're gonna be throwing things at me, you need to communicate that beforehand.
We were making eye contact.
I was distracted by stew.
We were making eye contact.
I was thinking about stew.
All right, I pick up the bowls with one hand. I'm holding very dexterously 4 beers by their little mug handles in one.
Show off.
And I bring one over to Randy.
Oh,
I'm like, hey.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, no.
Okay.
No,
they were saying I needed a bowl.
Yeah, this is for you. So you seem like the kind
yeah.
of person that would really enjoy this, but there's a thing you can do, where you just take a scoop of each bowl, or like of each cauldron, and make it into one big soup. I feel like
A super soup.
Yeah, I feel like you would enjoy that in particular.
All right, I'll try it out. I take the bowl, and I like take the bowl itself, and like just take a little bit of each stew, like very clearly spilling like each stew into the other stews. So it's like it's just all contaminated by other stew.
I start off trying to help him, and I give up halfway through the soups.
And then I once I have my bowl, which is dripping like all over because of the way that I decided to put the stew in this bowl.
People around you are like, they're lifting up their arms, shaking off wayward stew bits as you like clamor about and fill up your bowl. And you hear a lot of like under the breath cursing.
And then I take out like it's like a little vial, more of like it's a little bigger than a vial, I guess. And I uncork it. I drink like about half of it, and then I pour the rest into a cauldron, and I walk away.
I bought you a beer.
That's not alcohol.
I look at him for
Are you trying to do this at all stealthily, or are you just doing it?
I'm just doing it.
The person closest to the cauldron that you pour it into is this kind of sweet lady. Just, sir, what was that? A bit of a seasoning of your own creation? I don't notice that on any of the walls. Did you bring that yourself?
Yeah, no, I didn't make it, but it's a real popular the next village over. They really like it there, so I thought maybe I'd, share the wealth.
You're so quiet.
Yeah, I'm quiet.
Now you're not.
Okay.
Well, so you're saying you got this in Conway's Ferry and you brought it here? What is it?
I'm not sure.
All right. Thanks.
Doesn't taste particularly good either, but I don't know.
As you kind of turn away and somebody actually goes to take a ladle full, she goes, and she kind of nudges it as it spills into the coals of the hearth. And there's actually kind of puffs of fire and smoke that billow out, and she's like very shockingly taken aback as you amble over to your compatriots.
At the point where I left him, when he was starting to embarrass me, could I have gone over to the bard? Would I know her if I've been here around? And also, I am a bard, and I do have an instrument.
Yes, you have become familiar with this individual. You've seen her at a number of the taverns around town. You know her to be Rebecca. Not Rebecca, that's the other bard. You know her to be Marguerite. Marguerite is a human. And yeah, you've seen her around town a couple times. So you have seen her, but you haven't met her quite yet.
I second Evan's question.
What's the question?
What do you think the question is, bud?
Oh, sorry. Nat20Hot.
Oh,
Yeah, she
shit.
is. She is Nat20Hot.
I
Oh wait,
feel like would know.
I have a picture.
Oh my god. We were waiting so patiently.
I've never been more. Oh, that's
Sorry.
that's Nat20Hot. I love those frilly shoulder things.
I'm going to toss a coin and then just kind of like
thank you.
Motion for her to. Yeah. And then I'm just kind of like give her a little hand motion to like maybe do like something up tempo to hopefully distract people from Randy and all of us.
She kind of smiles at you and gives you a little wink, and she starts plucking away at the strings, and it starts to pick up quite a bit. And the men around her start kind of slapping on their knees with the tempo and singing along to the songs that she's playing, which are very like hearty fisherman song about going out onto the bay and catching a good load of fish.
Nice.
Now that's relatable content.
Hopefully that has distracted people enough from Randy.
Yeah, there's a lot of hustle and bustle happening in this place. The day is also starting to come to an end. So more and more people have kind of started to clamor into the Kelpie Inn. And while you're surrounded by individuals, people aren't really paying you much mind. You've gotten your food, you're seated at a table, and there's a lot of activity around you, but nothing remarkable or really anyone paying too much attention to you. Randy still gets the odd look every now and then, as well as Dunk, as being kind of unrecognized. They're not. People do seem to greet them with an air of suspicion, but other than that, they pay you no mind.
All right, do we got our table? We got a nice little table.
Indeed, you do. And what are you doing?
Cool. All right. Are we planning on going? My soup,
but like with the most obnoxious like.
Oh God.
You're being a soup slurper?
Yeah. Slurping.
Are we planning on eating our food and then heading out to find the other dogs or whatever?
Well, first of all, I'd like to know who the fuck all of you are.
Well, I would like to just answer this question first, and then we can get on with that. I feel like that'll start a lot of things.
Well, y'all all get hurt, so if you need to take a rest, I understand, but I am ready to go whenever.
All right, I pull my instrument from my back, which is a little mandolin, and I start just kind of plucking along a very quiet accompaniment to what Marguerite is playing, and it is a song of rest. So if we're short resting, everyone gets an extra 1d6 hit points.
Hey.
Sorry,
it's like very, very subtle and like complementary to what she is playing.
Yes, Marguerite notices what you're doing, and she gives you a soft smile, but you can tell it's maybe she doesn't quite love what you're doing. Like she's kind of like, as she continues to pluck away.
I play slightly quiet. I play as quiet as I can, but still get stung for
Excellent. You are indeed all taking a short rest, and do take the additional hit points that Branwen is providing.
You're welcome.
Oh, I'm a cleric. As long as we're healing. Who's looking the roughest of everybody?
I mean, now I'm back up to full, so I'm fine now. I just used all my hit dice.
Out of character moment to let Willem know that he is the loudest keyboard of all time.
It's a mechanical keyboard, I'm sorry.
Okay. Then I will just heal myself with Cure Wounds.
Okay. Now,
1d8.
Little antler boy. What did you want?
I want to know who the hell you all are. I want to know who that gentleman was corralling us in here with you. I just like some information.
Okay, cool. That's Randy.
Right. Well, I know who Randy is. Randy's very self-evident, but you were with another one of you elven folk. Correct in here?
Also,
you seem like you were working for him or something?
Yeah, you could say that. And as you're sitting with me, you're kind of noticing that I do look elven, but like in a slightly uncanny valley kind of way.
Okay.
I feel like if you compared Bronwyn with any other elven person in this room, it would look like someone took the saturation slider and just like turned it up a bit.
Okay.
Or it's something not quite the same. Oh yeah, but no, that's El Ray. I kind of work for him. Yeah, sure. He's cool. Don't worry about him. Worry about Danny Trejo.
Oh yeah,
Although
the veteran. He did not seem to be a fan of our large friend here. Well, one of our two large friends.
I mean, he's kind of like that to everybody, so don't really worry about it.
Okay, well, I'm new in town, so I don't really know my way around anything. Just try to keep it low key.
Yeah, no, everything around here is really boring, so don't worry about it.
I like your whole head thing, man. You could grow those out if you wanted. I think it'd look pretty cool.
Yeah, I try to blend in. It can get a little unruly if I let them go. And at this point, I also pull down my hood, and you see that my ears are pointed but forked at the points.
I mean, if you let them grow, you could easily like. Did yours fall off every like season or so? Because usually that's what happens. But if you let them grow before then, they can hit like 30 points.
No, I only started growing them a little while ago, and they never fell off. But I do try to keep them down. They have been a source of tragedy in my life. Just putting that out there.
Of course, I'm assuming Bronwyn has met some hexbloods in her life.
Tragedy.
Yes, Bronwyn. To you.
Pull out my axe.
Oh, sorry. Go.
I'm offering to chop off his horns if you're a source of tragedy for him. I pull out my axe.
Okay, put that back. Go and get.
I might take you up on that later, my friend.
Fuck.
I help anytime.
Bronwyn, Willem does, again, similar to the wolf, feel quite familiar to you. You've certainly seen people like Willem quite a bit.
I haven't seen other ones like him around here.
Not around here.
And I haven't seen other creatures like the big dog.
Not around here.
Interesting. Where are you from, Willem?
That's on a need-to-know basis.
I need to know.
Fun.
I
Needs to know.
disagree. All you need to know is that I'm here now.
Yeah, aren't we all, man? It's just
What
nice,
about you?
you know.
Where are you from?
Where are you adding right now?
You, little lady?
Oh, me?
Yes.
That's also on a need to know.
All right. Respect. Where's
What about big guy?
everybody
What about
from?
big guy? As in at Dunk.
I fight with hobgoblins. Then they kick me out.
That's
That just
Now I draw.
adds.
I pull out my calligrapher set. It's like the most beautiful, intricate thing in the world. I just hold up this.
How long were you waiting with that? Please tell me.
I just did this. I had to scramble to find something to write on.
Bronwyn looks at Dunk for a full 5 seconds and says with complete sincerity, in Goblin, that's beautiful.
As you two start speaking Goblin, a couple of folks do turn around and start to take a look at you all from nearby tables. And one of them does look, give an extended look at Dunk and kind of abruptly stands up. And they're wearing like more elegant clothing than some of the other folks in the room. Who are more like rough and tumble. They're wearing smocks and aprons and things that they've come from, wood houses or from the fishing docks. And instead, this one kind of looks at you, Dunk, and says, "Have I seen you before? Outside town?" Yeah. Yeah, you used to run with one of those crowds, didn't you?
Yes, I'm from Woods.
What part of the woods?
That way.
He kind of looks at you. Are you dense?
A little.
What the hell are you all doing with him? And he kind of like
I'm
gestures to the rest of
smiling
you.
at this man so wide.
We do not want any trouble. We are on an important mission from the Baron and Thomas. We are sanctioned diplomatically. We're going to have to ask you to
The man
let us
hears
do.
Thomas's name. He spits on the floor. Thomas can go fuck himself.
I raise a glass to that.
That's right. She's the only smart one around you. Mind you keep your hood up. And tell your friend not to come back into town again. In fact, why don't you tell him to get as far away from here as possible and stay off the roads? And he kind of tosses his cloak, and as he walks out, he kind of looks over and shouts at Grub, just letting in all the wrong crowd now, eh, Grub? As he heads out.
That was mighty
Hey, at least the
disrespectful.
wrong crowd is gone now. Alright. Dunk. You know where these dogs are?
Yes. We can go.
Are you guys good? Randy?
Where are we going?
The woods?
All right, yeah.
Hey, lots of trees, am I right?
True. Yeah, that's that is what they say about the woods. Lots of trees.
I was making a reference to weed.
I can't stop laughing. I do this for like a fucking minute straight.
Bronwyn's laughing with him for like the first 5 seconds, and then slightly scared.
People around you are starting to
Yeah, calm
leave.
down.
People around you are starting to leave. They stand up, they walk over to the other side, or they just choose to leave the bar altogether. But you all are deciding to.
Because I want to come back to this place at some point. We should leave. I want to come back here.
Okay.
You are very funny.
You all stand up and begin to make your way out, and we are going to take a quick.
Another coin to Marguerite.
Marguerite says, "Thanks, love. Don't play while I'm playing again." Under her breath.
I'm just like, sorry.
And we are going to take a very quick break. Hey, folks, we're taking a quick break. We'll be back in just a minute. All right, we are back. Thanks to all of you still tuning
Shout out
in.
to the Rink family.
Shout out to the Rink family for their donation to Extra Life. For those of you that don't know, as we get back underway here, we are benefiting Extra Life, which is a charity for America's Children's Hospitals. So it's a wonderful cause. We're doing this for fun. We're doing this for the kids. And we're going to get back into it all as you all start to make your way out of town and into the beautiful Waltham Wood. You make your way out of the Kelpie Inn and through the market square. As you start to make your way through Trowood, you start to see the density of buildings becomes far less very quickly. So while the market square and the buildings around the Great Hall are quite close together, they're very tight-knit. They're very limited in small alleyways. The buildings become very sparse as you make your way to the edge of town and get closer to the Palisades. So as you get closer to the Palisades, you start to see that just beyond them are these just massive trees that seem to be ever encroaching upon the town's borders. And as you make your way through the gate, you pass through the open gateway, and you have you see up on these kind of like rickety stands that are on one side, the town side of the palisade. There are kind of two guards looking down upon you, and they give you a curt nod as you make your way into the forest of just towering trees. It is but just a short walk, and you even see as you make your way across like this dirt path, one end forking left on a road that's well traveled and kind of follows the edge of the city, and another kind of dirt pathway that actually leads into the heart of the woods. You see there's tree trunks in as far as the eye can see, and even as there are many trunks lined throughout the dirt, there's even young sprouting trees punching up from the dirt and the loamy soil. So it's very clear to you that the forest is ever encroaching. And as you make your way into the wood, the canopy starts to block out much of the sunlight and the sounds of the town behind you, the bustling crowd and the hammering of nails, leaving only the sounds of the forest as you make your way deeper in. The forest floor is blanketed with a thick layer of fallen leaves. They rustle very gently under your feet as you make your way through. There are large oaks and maples with just gorgeous hues of golden brown and orange, and their leaves gently rustling in the soft breeze as they float down to the earth. But even those trees dwarf in comparison to the towering conifers that surround them. They rise up from the ground, pinging cell phone signals and providing a very nice contrast to the deciduous trees that surround them. There's a very nice and very clear smell of decaying leaves and moist air, along with the distant calls of birds and the occasional scurrying of the small forest critters that call this land home. As it's getting later in the day and evening approaches, the air is cool, crisp, and you can feel the dampness of the forest on your skin and your clothes as you walk. As you trek deeper into the woods, the trees become more twisted, and the well-trod path that you exited on is left behind, giving way to the unknown expanse of the wood before you. And Dunk, where are you taking them?
So I guess I'll just lead them, following, I guess, a pretty obvious trail of broken shrubbery and whatnot, brush, where I was obviously running away from this giant goat dog thing.
I will have you make a survival check to
Yes.
to find that path.
Shit. I think it was 9.
Okay. You are having some difficulties. You see a lot of broken branches and trampled shrubs and bushes, fallen logs and trees, and everything is starting to look quite similar. You've been here quite a while, but you just haven't had the opportunity to really make a place for yourself. Like you have just kind of ambled about these woods for some time, shifting from camp to camp. And after a while, it has all kind of started to blur together. So the four of you have found that you've been walking for just shy of an hour before you start to notice that you're seeing the same things again and again. You've passed that tree with the odd notch in it about 3 or 4 times.
Bronwyn has been... You go,
Sorry.
Nolan.
Oh, I was just going to ask Dunk if he's very certain about where we're going, because I seem to believe we are getting caught in circles.
No, that's you got to lay down for a little bit if you feel like you're in a circle, man. If you feel like you're in a loop, just lay down for a bit. You'll feel fine.
Well, sometimes if you lay down, it gets worse.
It depends, I guess. But I don't know. I am getting a little deja vu, though.
Turn at Albuquerque.
Bronwyn has been looking disappointedly at this, probably what seems like a very beautiful forest since we got in here. And now I'm just kind of like, it all looks the same to me, so I can't tell if we've been going in circles.
Are there any signs around of large dog activity?
Make an investigation check.
All right, happy to do that for you. That's going to be a 12.
No signs of dog activity that you can tell, but there is some crushed sticks and shrubs that seem to break off from the trail that you've been following to the northeast.
I point this out to my compatriots.
I mean, you can lead the way.
Perhaps Dunk would like to lead the way as he is most familiar with these woods and also the biggest and toughest.
Can I look around for my little squirrel companion friend?
Sure.
What?
Make a perception check.
It's like the hacker gif where they're like just typing like this.
Is it that loud?
Yeah, we're gonna need to change that for next time. Dunk, what are you doing?
Yeah, I'm gonna be looking for Mac, my squirrel friend.
Okay. And can you remind me your relationship with this squirrel and like how they?
Yeah.
Is it a magical one? Do they know of your like? No. Do they follow you?
Just a friend.
Okay.
That.
Oh, thank God.
Sort of been hanging out with the past couple of days.
Days.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Last night.
Okay. Roll a perception check.
17.
As you look kind of up into the trees, you see a lot of small critters. There's chipmunks. There's small birds that are kind of woodpeckering along on the side of trees, which is what woodpeckers do. They woodpecker. And you see a number of squirrels. Is there one in particular you're looking for, or is this like just a pretty standard North American gray squirrel?
Just a pretty standard like squirrel. But
okay.
I guess I'll see it up there and I'll snack. And he comes down and
Yeah, I will say that this small squirrel does amble down the tree and climbs into your hand. Can you talk to it?
Yeah, sure.
I bet he can.
No, like, can you act? Like, does it understand you?
Oh, not that I can tell.
Okay.
Snack. Where was Wolf?
The squirrel just kind of like looks at you inquisitively. And it hops off and starts to head down the path that Willem has pointed out.
I am absolutely fascinated by this squirrel. I do not stop staring at it, and I get real close.
So you all are following
Bronwyn's
this
just kind of like looking at
squirrel?
it. She's just like, this is what squirrels normally do, so this doesn't seem out of place for me.
So you all are following this squirrel into the path that Willem has pointed out?
Yeah, that's what squirrels do.
All right. As you do, you follow this squirrel, and inevitably and very quickly lose sight of it, as it is but a small rodent. But following the pathway, you do end up kind of stumbling out into not a large, but a decent-sized clearing. Like the trees are still very close together, but they've started to open up just a bit. And there's some low foothills, and you can see the ground starting to slope up, and you can feel, kind of the intensity of your walk increases as you start to head uphill. And as you break out into this light clearing, the trees start to part a little bit, and there's a small cave entrance on the far side of the clearing. There's a couple of small foothills that seem to descend above it, and it slopes back down, and there's just a very rocky outcropping that sits in front of these foothills, and a dark entrance into what looks like a cave. Dunk, it does not look familiar to you at all from earlier today, but you do feel as though you've been here before.
Perhaps scary dog from here.
All right.
I will have one of you, any of you, can choose to make a perception check.
I guess I'll do. I'm the one in front.
So you're all kind of like standing out in this clearing. So yeah, you can all kind of take a look around.
I got a 15.
Okay.
8.
21.
Bronwyn.
This is the first character I've had in a long time that actually has good perception.
Branwyn, you are the first to hear the rustling of leaves from your left. And you kind of hear like muttering. And yeah, so from the left-hand side, you hear kind of leaves shifting about.
I step very purposefully towards that area in a way that probably makes it clear that I know that they're there.
You hear a very soft voice. Hello? Yes? Can I help you?
In common.
Can I help you?
In common. Well, actually, you might be able to. And from kind of poking her head out from behind the tree, you see this young woman with very pulled back curly hair in green robes, and she gives you like a very soft smile. She has very fair skin, and her hair is kind of neatly pulled back over her shoulders, but you can tell she has very bright, vibrant red curls. And you all will be able to see her.
I have 2 questions for you, and you should know what both of them are.
Yes. Just a moment.
I only know what one question is.
Yeah, I only know one of them too.
Is she secretly evil?
Okay. So you see this individual in front of you. They are a 17. So they're a beautiful young woman. They've got fiery green eyes, and she has a very like innocent-looking face. A lot of redheads, a lot of red things. It's autumn. I will have you roll your insight check.
Insight. Are they bad? wait.
6.
She seems like a wonderful young woman.
She's great.
Yeah.
Can I cast detect evil and good?
You certainly can.
Who needs those spell slots? Not us.
Let me read it real quick. If there's any, it's yeah. It just detects if it's evil or good.
Is she also aware that you're doing this?
So this is detect evil and good, right? This is the spell you're casting? Okay.
Yeah.
So just to clarify, for the duration, you know if there's an aberration, celestial, elemental, fey, fiend, or undead within 30 feet of you?
Yes, sir.
Okay. As you cast that spell, like this like glowing light kind of pops out from your hands, and it kind of hovers in front of you, and it floats across and hovers right in front of Branwen.
In that she is evil or good?
In that she is a fey.
Oh.
So am I.
And it
Oh,
also
okay.
kind of floats between Willem and Branwen. You're not really, though,
I'm
so we'll talk
more
about that. Yeah.
I like kind of like look around. I see what the little light thing is doing, and I go, yeah. Oh.
You'll have to excuse my friends, man. We've been traveling in the woods for quite a while. What are you doing out here exactly?
Oh, well, that's a very good question. I suppose I was out for a walk, but now I'm looking for things. You see, I work at Marcel Moreau's shop. I'm her apprentice, and I thought while out on my walk I might find some herbs and flowers that I could bring back and hopefully make up for the fact that I wasn't at work when I was supposed to be. You see, I came here, I thought there might be, well, I know there to be blue cap mushrooms in that cave over there, but there may be a bear inside. There may not be. Honestly, I haven't been paying that much attention to the cave. It's just so beautiful out here, you know? What are you all doing here?
We are on a mission. Oh, I'm Irish. I'm not supposed to be Irish. We are on a mission from Thomas and the Baron to hunt down the source of
The
some.
Baron? You mean Baron?
these-
Baron Fowler?
Baron, yeah. Baron Fowler, the
He's
one
not-
and the same.
He's
What a
not
dick,
the
right?
Baron. He's
Oh,
his
excuse
name
me.
is Baron.
Excuse me. I'm a bit
His
slow.
name is Aaron. I didn't know that.
Well, Baron and Thomas have tasked us with locating the source of large antlered dogs that have been terrorizing the town. And,
Adler dogs.
well,
You know, it's funny you should say that. Actually, I think I heard some commotion. When was this?
earlier today, probably 3-4 hours ago.
Yeah. When I was coming out of town, I think. In fact, I think I saw you there. You were running quite fast for such a big man. She kind of looks over at you, Dunk.
Yes, scary dog.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad to see you're okay. It's not often that we see things like that around here.
Hi, Mom. I think my mom's here.
Hi, Steph's mom.
Hi, Steph's mom.
Dr. Rick! Hello!
It's gotta be a ring.
So, I would be more than happy to provide you with some wares from Marceline's shop. She does own a few things, and if you wouldn't mind going into that cave and maybe picking some mushrooms for me. You all seem like you know what you're doing.
I do know
I
my
want
way
to insight
around.
check her again, but I can't.
You can insight check her again. I'll give it to you.
Okay, is she secretly? She's secretly.
You're gonna need I need you to pick, like, tell me what you're trying to incite.
She just did.
I want to know if she has something to do with the big old dog that attacked.
Okay, so you're trying to
and that
understand,
this
like,
time.
based on what she said, if she had something to do with it.
Yeah, because I can't tell if it's Chris's voice for talking as a female person or if it's so sketchy. And that's a 17.
You get the sense that this individual is very airy, and you can tell that she's incredibly innocent and of at least what happened earlier, and that she really truly just happened to be out here in the woods and did see Dunk running away and the dogs chasing after him. But she might not be, you kind of liken her to Randy a bit, just based on your brief interactions with both individuals.
He's so high.
What? So what kind of fae are you?
What?
Who said anything about a fae? Wait, does that spell
I
identify
don't think there's
fae?
any fae here. What?
Does that spell identify fae? You can
What-
cast
what
spells.
spell? Yeah.
So you're a fae. You're one of them. One of our
Me?
ancestors. And she looks at you, Bronwyn.
No.
How about those mushrooms, huh?
And
Oh,
I'm
yes.
also just side-eyeing Willem so hard.
Yes, the mushrooms. They're blue cap mushrooms specifically. Well, glowing blue caps. They're kind of hard to miss. They're very small, delicate, and their caps are pale blue colors. That's where they get their names from. They have these really long, thin stems that are they're just like a little bit darker blue. And, well, they're often found in caves. And like I said, I found this cave earlier today, and I think there might be bears inside, but I'm really not quite sure. So if you wouldn't mind going in and looking for them, I'd be very grateful. And like I said, I'd be more than happy to provide you with some bears from Marceline's shop.
That seems amenable to me.
Sure. I mean, we're going in there anyway, so we might as well.
Yeah. So like, what kind of fae are you?
All right, I
Okay,
guess
let's go
I'm
in the cave
leading the
first.
way into the
Let's go in
cave.
the bear cave. Let's go in the bear cave.
All right.
I like, I just don't really understand like any of the social contract shit that's going on right now. I'm just like very curious of, yeah, I don't know. Okay.
Bear cave, and I just lead the charge.
Oh my god.
All right, so Branwyn will lead the charge into the bear cave, and that feels like a good place for us to rest for the evening, or rather stop for the evening. To remind all of our viewers, we are a group of friends that like to play D&D together, and we are doing this in the interest of having fun, but also for the kids. If you check our chat, you will find links to our Extra Life page. All of this is being done in support of children's hospitals, so America's Children's Hospital Networks. If you contribute, you are able to signify the hospital that you'd like your contributions to go to. So please feel free to donate to our Extra Life team. Please follow us and subscribe to our Twitch channel, Nat20Hot, where we are streaming right now. That will keep you up to date on when we are going live next. And to that end, you can find this group right here. This is our first episode, so we are actually streaming on a Saturday, but we will be streaming on Sundays at 3 p.m. Eastern Time. So do tune in on Sundays at 3 p.m. Eastern Time. We will be every other Sunday, so you can find us here again on February 12th. That's a Sunday. And until then, it has been a pleasure. We hope you liked what you saw, and thank you all for tuning in. Have a great night.
Shout out to Nicholas and Alex Rank for also donating $50 each.
Hey!
Oh, wow. Thank
We
you.
are already well on our way to our $1,000 goal for the stream. So
Wow.
Thanks to the Rink family.
let's crush our goal and hope you all have a wonderful night. So long.
Brothers and parents.
Bye.